Hello everyone, Tim Vine here and welcome to Board of Numbers. Yes, it's all about the dartboard and I will be analysing every single number, 21 episodes, so that's 20 numbers, and the last episode I'll be talking about the bull. Of course, today's number, therefore, is the first number on the board, the number 1. And the number 1, of course, is the scourge of the amateur dart player. How many times do you stand up in a pub, go for the 20, and it veers straight into the 1? It happens a lot, doesn't it? And you throw 3 single ones, and that, of course, is the lowest score you can get on a dartboard. If you actually have 3 scoring darts, is 3. And it's no comfort really when someone, as they often do, says to you, you've got to actually be quite a good player to do that, because there's some truth to that. That if you're someone throwing random darts, the old monkey with a fire hose approach, you're not going to get 3 single ones because your grouping is going to be all over the shop. So you're throwing, a treble 14, a double 13, and a 5. That's better than 3 single ones, clearly. So the thing is that when you're in a pub, the random dart thrower is a dangerous prospect. That we know. But it's true that to get better at darts, you will find there will be a point at which your scores get worse. Work that out, but that's the truth of it. That's what's so amazing about the professional dart players, really, and why they're all heroes of mine, is that plumb line they have of throwing. They so rarely drift away from the 20. Now, they're even aiming lower down the 20, the thinnest part of it, well, not the very thinnest part, but halfway down the 20, where the triple is. That's where they're concentrating all their attention as well. And yet, how many times do you see a dart player throw 81? You watch the PDC World Championships, and that will be a rare score, 81. 80, anything, I find I'm very happy with that. But that's the thing about the line that a professional dart player is able to throw. You look at someone like Smith, and that his incredible throw is just not deviating from that line. So anyway, number 1 is as I say, it's not something that the amateur dart player particularly likes as a number, because it's sitting right next to the 20. Treble 1, incidentally, is something no one ever goes for deliberately, and yet it will feature a lot in a dart match of a reasonable standard. Perhaps not professional, but a couple of standards below that, and you'll find treble 1 happens a lot. And again, I say this: if you hit 3 triple 1s, you score 9. It's the only sport where someone will say to you, "That's a terrible score, but they're good darts," and that's the way it is, isn't it? You're very near the triple 20. You score 3 triple 1s, you're a good dart player. Perhaps the board needs to be swiveled round slightly, is normally the response. And the design, of course, was done by Brian Gamlin. Brian Gamlin in 1896. He was the man who thought that to alternate large numbers and small numbers was a good move. And it really was a work of absolute genius, wasn't it? If you'd have gone round the numbers in in chronological order, you'd have the 18, 19 and the 20. Well, I mean, we'd all be getting walloping great scores, wouldn't we? But no, it really does sort the men out from the boys, really, having the 1 and the 5 either side of the golden jewel, the triple 20. And I want to talk now a little bit about Benford's law. Now, Benford's law, you might not be familiar with. I first came to hear about this from my father, Guy Vine, who was a mathematician, and among other things. And Benford's law says, and this is a real thing, it says that 1 is the most occurring number in the world, generally. The number 1 will be the number you will mostly see. If you look at house numbers, they mostly have a 1 in them. I was brought up at number 11, so to me, this seemed to me to be obvious. Have a look at the book you're reading at the moment. Look at what page you on. Is there a 1 in it? There probably is. I can feel people shaking their heads at this. I didn't make this up. This is Benford's law. Blame Benford. But it made me think to myself, is that true in darts as well? Is Benford's law applicable to the game of darts? Well, I mean, there's so much variety in, certainly is the way I play, in a leg of darts. But if you look at a 9-darter, for example, the best you can do a 501 in, let's look at the scores. So you go 180, 180, 141. So 180, there's a 1 at the beginning of the 180. There's your 1. Second 180, there's the 1 again. And then 141, there's 2 1s in that, 141. So that's 4 times the 1 has appeared. But let's not just look at what you've thrown, let's look at what you left on. You started on 501, there's a 1. You threw your 180, left you on 321, there's your second 1. It left you on 141, 141, there's the 2 1s. So once again, 4 1s. So perhaps it's true that Benford's law is applicable even in the game of darts, and that one segment is it does keep cropping up in scores, not only in the fact that you drift into it as an amateur. And of course, perhaps the most famous double for the amateur, and the one that gets the eyes rolling, is double 1. Annie's room, as it's called. No one knows why. Someone does, but I don't. I didn't look it up. But double 1, it's if you're a pub player, you're on double 20, you end up on double 10, you end up on double 5, you end up on 5, 1 double 2, and hit in a single 2. Suddenly you're on double 1. And it's that thing of drifting towards the inevitable double 1. You can't go any further back than double 1. That's where you could end up sticking. Double 16, you go 16, 8, 4, 2, and you're on the 1. Even actually, if you're on double 12, double 12, double 6, double 3, you hit the single 3, then you're on 1 double 1. Goodness me, nobody likes that. But one of the things that I was given as advice for throwing it for double 1 was by some of the better players in my team, the county players and Super League players, and it's 1 up, 1 in. Now, this is really a way to approach double 1 if you've got 3 darts in your hand. 1 up, 1 in says don't go straight for it. In a high-pressured situation, you've got to take this thing out. The guy, your opponent, is maybe waiting on a nicer double, like double top, and you're on double 1. The heart sinks slightly, but nonetheless, it's a double. You have 3 darts in your hand. 1 up, 1 in says you throw the first dart and just loft it slightly. Perhaps don't go straight for the meat of the double 1. Go for the wire along the top of the double 1, or even just above that wire, because you're going 1 up, 1 in. Okay, if it just drops in, no one's going to tell you off. You finished the game. Well done, you're the winner. But the sacrilege thing with 3 darts in your hand and going for double 1 is to stick your first dart right in the centre of that single 1, and it just seems like such a waste. So 1 up, 1 in. Send 1 up and then go for it with your second dart, and then the same with your third dart. This doesn't apply, incidentally, if you're on 3 for 1 double 1. You hit that big single 1, which is not easy under pressure when you're on 3. You hit the single 1. Don't then apply 1 up, 1 in. Go for it. You've got that single 1 out the way. If I were you, I'd go for it with your second dart. Perhaps some people might see themselves with the 1 up, 1 in at that stage. I wouldn't. You've actually sorted out your aiming, because you've hit the single 1. Now you can adjust and go straight for the double. Now the pro will use, nearly fell off my chair then. The pro will, that's how gripped I am. The pro will go for the single 1 in different ways. The pro went on 17 will, and I don't think I'm being presumptuous to suggest this, will mainly go 1 double 8. That's how they will mainly do 17. Occasionally you might see a pro go 5 double 6, but that really, I would say that's very rare. And again, if you're on 9, you're going to go 1 double 8. That's what the pro will do. And if he's on 5, he'll go 1 double 4. And as we said before, if he's on 3, there's no other way of going but 1 double 1, of course, in that instance. Excuse me. One of the things that you don't often see a pro do is when they're on 25, go 1 double 12. I don't quite understand why, because double 12 is a nice double. And I've occasionally looked at it myself on 25 and thought, I'll go for 1 double 12, and I have done that a few times. So I don't know, you have to speak to a pro and ask them why they don't go for that. I suppose it's not an obvious shot. If you're on 25, you're really going to go for 5 double 10, or more likely than the 9 double 8, probably. It may be that you don't want to go for double 12, because if you hit the 12, then you're on double 6. You hit the 6, then you're on double 3. You've got no one likes to have 1 dart in their hand going for double 3. They really do not, because you're going to end up toying with the idea of being left on 1 double 1. Who wants it? Nobody. So different reactions can be had to hitting a single 1. Now, that's, you say, well, what do you mean by that, Tim? Well, what I mean is, if you're going for 20, you're going for your highest score. Perhaps the leg's just started, you're on 501, and the first dart you throw in 501 is a single one, your heart sinks. So you try and adjust slightly, but your arm doesn't listen, and you throw with your second dart another single one. So now you've thrown 2 darts at the start of this leg and you've scored 2. And you're thinking, well, here comes the big third single one for 3. Or equally, you don't want to veer off into the 5 for 7. And then you throw with great quality and you hit a triple 20. 62. It's what I call the rescue dart. And it's it'll give you a little bit of a yes moment internally, although you shouldn't do too much of that to give away too much to your opponent who stands behind you watching your every move. But nonetheless, 1-1 triple 20 could be termed, and it's been done before by myself on team nights, as a successful shot. Looks good. I often when I throw the first 2, I will then say 62 by way of, call it, then throw it. Because often it's nice to sort of give yourself a challenge. Of course, when you don't hit it, you look stupid. But if you go 62, then you do hit it, and everyone thinks you're a genius. But the other way round of scoring 62 is not so good. You throw triple 20 first dart of a 501. Of course, all your dreams come alive, don't they? You think, how far are we going down this yellow brick road? And then you throw a single one. Oh, dear. Then you throw another single one. Oh, dear. Also 62, but you walk away from the board with your tail between your legs, not in the same way as if you hit it in the other order, 1-1 triple 20. So there's lots of laughs to be had, of course, playing darts at the level that I play it anyway, when they mostly hit the radiator. No, they don't. One of the great, probably the best number one joke, darting number one joke I've heard is when you say, when you genuinely can't find your darts. Sometimes you put them down somewhere, don't you, and you can't find them. And you say, does anyone see my darts? And then someone, often Tim Stedman, who plays in my team, he'll say, have you checked in the one? Now that's a brilliant joke. It's always been a great joke, and I don't care how many times I hear it, I always enjoy it. But, the most enjoyable, incidentally, I'll tell you this, I used to have the darts nickname. At the moment I'm the Punaway Train. I've been the Tide because eventually I'm coming in, and also I've been the Rain Cloud. I remember playing darts at Bobby George's house once for some TV thing a long time ago, and I said my nickname was the Rain Cloud. He said, why? I said, because I always chuck it down, which was a reference to mainly my height. But the funniest checkout using double one that I've ever seen was scored by Dave Olive, who plays for my team. Now, Dave is quite a fast thrower, and I think there's something inherently funny about a fast thrower anyway. But I'll tell you what, he's got a finish in him. He's a good player. But he was on 32, steps up. And, of course, we're all looking at the double 16, thinking, come on, Dave, just stick it. And his first dart, I don't know whether someone opened a window or something, but he hit 777. So now he's on 11. So he goes for the 3 to leave double 4. He hits 333, which is 9, leaves double 1, and he hits double 1. Now, when that shot was done at speed, I still laugh about it to this day. I will chuckle while lying in bed at that. That will always be funny to me. It was 32, 777, 333, double 1, bang. I mean, of course, everyone responded, well, there's no other way of doing it, is there, Dave? And other such comments. Well, that's the end of episode 1 of Board of Numbers, and that was the first number, the number 1. Yes, I know on the little ident thing there, it says guest with guests. There was no guests on this first episode, and it also says 21 episodes. I'm not sure whether I can quite get myself through 21 episodes. But anyway, there's the first episode. I guess we'll have to ask the question, do you want any more episodes? That's Board of Darts. No, it's not. That's Board of Numbers. Board of Numbers with Tim Vine. Episode 1 is over.